Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to our first video of 2024. In this tutorial, we are going to create a peekaboo tumbler design. Of course, what else would I start the year off with other than a peekaboo? I hope you all had an amazing holiday season and I hope you're ready for a lot of amazing things coming in 2024. I have so many great things planned for you and I cannot wait to share them. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up down below. Of course, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of my new videos. Everything you'll need to recreate this tumbler design will be listed and linked down below in the description box, along with some discount codes. I'll also have a link to join my exclusive mentorship group, MBMM Elite. In that group, I provide a bunch of additional content like exclusive tutorials, live streams in our Facebook group. We do monthly Zoom calls, live classes, free digital files, all kinds of stuff happening in that group. So if you want to join the Elite fam, you can click the link down below in the description box, or you can go to madebymannyandmal.com/MBMM Elite. Okay, I think that's it. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. Let's go. All right, we are going to get started with a 20-ounce modern curve tumbler, and we're going to use some silver glitter for the base of our tumbler. So I'm not going to base coat my cup with paint. I'm just going to go right in on my prepped stainless steel surface, and I'm going to use UV resin to apply my glitter. I've been doing this lately mostly just because I am impatient and I want to work more quickly. You can absolutely use regular epoxy if you want. You can use glitter glue, Mod Podge, whatever adhesive method you prefer is totally fine for this technique. So I'm going to take my UV resin and I'm going to put a little bit on my cup, spread it evenly with my glove the same way that you would with regular epoxy. And now I'm going to use a few different silvery colored glitters that I have. Of course, if you have just one, go for it. Just use one. No big deal. I just want to create a lot of depth and dimension in this initial layer, so I'm going to use 6 different glitters. Starting with Chandler Bling, which is a really chunky holographic cut from Peachy Olive Glitters, I'm going to go super light in my application here. As you can see, we're just getting a few of those little dots onto the tumbler with that really chunky cut. Then moving on into my next color, this is Heavenly, which is another kind of chunky custom mix, and I'm going to put that all over the tumbler. So essentially what we're doing here is almost creating like a custom mix of glitter. We're just layering each color individually on the cup rather than mixing them all beforehand. But the goal here is just to get a really pretty dimensional silver color on our tumbler. So after Heavenly, I'm going to move into my next chunky. This is Paris. Another little holographic cut, not as big as Chandler Bling though, so I'm going to go a little bit more heavy-handed here in applying Paris. And again, we're just covering the entire surface area of our tumbler with each glitter as we move along, so we're not doing any real like blending or any certain technique here. We're just layering the glitters on top of each other to create a really unique silver color. So here's what our tumbler looks like after applying all of our glitter. And now with a gloved hand, I'm going to go in and remove some of this glitter from the top rim of our tumbler. Now this is something that you would typically do when you sand after your 2 coats of epoxy, but because we're going to be doing a peekaboo design on this tumbler, I want to get rid of that glitter so that we just have our plain stainless steel up at the top. That's just going to make things easier when we go to sand down after our peekaboo. We're not going to sand down and see glitter. We'll just have that stainless steel available to us already. So I'm just going to get rid of a tiny little sliver, as you can see there, of that glitter. I'm also going to do this at the very bottom rim of our cup because we're using a flat bottom tumbler. That transition from the body of the tumbler down to the very bottom, like that corner of the cup, is kind of sharp. So I'm going to remove that glitter there so that I don't have to do a lot of sanding, or I don't have any pokey bits or anything that are going to mess me up during my process of designing this tumbler. So after my glitter is applied and I've cleaned up everything, I'm going to let this spin in front of my UV lamp for probably about 15 to 20 minutes. You might not need to leave it that long, but I just put it on there and then work on something else, and it always ends up being longer than it really needs to be. But once that is cured, I'm going to take my glitter glue and water mixture and I'm going to seal my glitter. This is a really, really, really important step. Because we're doing a peekaboo, we want this glitter to be as smooth and as flat as possible so that we don't need to add like 1,000 coats of epoxy over our glitter. So sealing your glitter, flattening it down will make your coats of epoxy much, much easier and will save you from doing all of the sanding that you would need to do if you didn't seal your glitter. So highly recommend this step. I'm going to take this mixture and you can see just brush it on my tumbler, and then I'm going to set this aside and let the sealer dry for at least 2 hours, and then we'll add 2 coats of epoxy to our tumbler. Alright, so after our 2 coats of epoxy, this is what our tumbler looks like. I'm going to do a full round of sanding on the cup because our next step is applying our stencils for our peekaboo, so I want my cup to be as smooth as possible. So I sanded my tumbler down and then washed it with dish soap and water, and now I'm ready to apply my stencils. So for this tumbler, we're going to do a stars peekaboo. We're going to do kind of like a dark starry night, and I have a decal that I'm going to put on here, and we're going to do a glitter offset outline thing here. So I have this SVG listed on my website if you are interested in using the same one. It comes with all of the outlines and offsets and the stencil part. So it comes with all of the layers that you'll need to complete this tumbler design or this effect. But what I'm going to do is put my big offset on the tumbler first. So that's that big blob that you see there, and that's all going to be glitter. And then we'll do some inlay decal things too, so that you can obviously read what the decal says. But we're going to do this first, so that big portion is glitter in the background. And then I'm going to take my star stencils and I cut 3 sizes of stars out. I don't remember the exact sizes I used, but it really doesn't matter. You can just size them however you want. You can use all the same stars if you want. You can use really small ones, really big ones. Whatever you want is totally fine. We just want to put as many stars as we can on the tumbler, because remember, the more stencils you put down, the more glitter you're going to see through your peekaboo. So I'm going to put all of these stars all around. I am leaving a little bit of space as I go though, because once we do the peekaboo and the glitter and everything, I'm going to add some little extra decals on top just to add a little bit of extra something something, but that's totally optional. You don't have to do that step. If you just want to do stencils and fill your cup up with peekaboo, go for it. I'm going to spray paint my tumbler using Black Tie Affair from Color Shot, and I'm going to let that sit and dry for about 30 minutes. Once the paint is totally dry, I'm going to take a white Posca paint pen and I'm going to just color all over my stencils to make it a little bit easier for me to find them underneath my glitter. We're going to be doing a kind of like Tacket method glitter application here, so we should be able to see this white paint pen underneath the glitter. But if you're using a really dark or like metallic glitter, or you're not doing this Tacket method, I would recommend taking a glue gun and putting some little glue dots on each of your stencils so that they're raised up and you can find those stencils underneath your glitter. If you don't do that, it will be an absolute nightmare. Don't ask me how I know. For our Faux Tacket method, I'm going to be using the foil adhesive from Southern Belle Glitter. So I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to brush a really thin, even layer all over the tumbler. And once this is on, we need to let it sit and dry for about 30 to 60 minutes. I usually let it sit for a full hour just to be safe, or if you're impatient, you can also just dry the adhesive really quickly using your heat gun. Whichever method you prefer is totally fine. You just really want that adhesive to be pretty much dry. It'll still be tacky, which is what we're looking for, which is the same exact thing we would do if we were using just regular Tacket adhesive. So if you want to use that instead, you absolutely can. Doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that this is dry and just a little tacky before you go in to apply your glitter. You'll know that your adhesive is dry because it will look clear, so you can see it looks much different than when I first applied it. That's how I know I'm good to go and I can just apply my glitter to the tumbler. So to start out, we are going to use Iceberg from Peachy Olive Glitters. Now this is a white glitter, but when you put it on black, it gives you this really cool like purple blue shift. It's so beautiful, and you would never know if you never did it. So I wanted to show you what this glitter looks like on a black base, and you can see on my white paper, it looks completely different. So once I've got Iceberg on my tumbler, I'm gonna take Glowstick, which is the same color as Iceberg, it's just a fine cut, and I'm gonna go over my entire tumbler with this glitter just to make sure we have really full coverage. And once that's on, I'm gonna take a gloved hand. If you like to live life on the edge, you can use your bare hand, doesn't matter. But I like to wear a glove, and I'm just going to burnish that glitter down and get that really pretty, smooth, chromy, shifty tacket glitter effect. So once you're done burnishing all of your glitter down, your tumbler should look something like this. And now because our adhesive is essentially fully dry at this point, we can go in and seal our glitter before we pull our stencils up, which makes things a whole lot easier when you're sealing your glitter beforehand. So I'm gonna take that same glitter glue and water mixture that I used to seal my glitter initially on that first silver coat of glitter, and I'm just gonna brush a thin layer of that all over my tumbler now with the stencils still on, and then I'm going to peel my stencils right away. So we're not going to let the sealer fully dry before we peel our stencils up. We're going to put the sealer on and then go right into peely time. I'm going to use my pin pen to peel up my stencils. You can use tweezers or whatever method you like for peeling your stencils up. You obviously just don't want to scratch that top surface where we did the peekaboo. So just take your time, be really careful, and enjoy peeling your stencils up. This is my favorite part of peekaboos. I love revealing the glitter underneath. Once all of our stencils are peeled up, I'm going to let the glitter sealer dry for at least 2 hours, and then I'm going to add another coat of epoxy on top to seal my peekaboo glitter in. This coat is about maybe 20-ish milliliters, and I'm using my Flynn Sisters Fast Cure epoxy. So I'm going to spread this on, let it dry for about maybe 4 to 6 hours, and then I'll go in with a second coat on top of my glitter. That coat will be about 15 to 20 milliliters, same Flynn Sisters Fast Cure epoxy. And once those 2 coats are cured, we can move on into our decal outlines and all of our extra vinyl elements. Before we can add all of our vinyl elements though, we do need to clean up the top rim of our tumbler. We've got a lot of glitter up there and we don't want it on there anymore. So I'm going to take my craft knife and I'm just going to run it along the top rim of my cup to get rid of all of that excess glitter. And then I'm going to take a sanding block, and I used, I think, an 80 grit sanding block here to sand down the top rim of my cup. Remember, we want to expose that really thin line of stainless steel so that we can form our final seal with our epoxy later. That's why we removed all of the glitter from the top rim at the very beginning of the video, so that we can make this sanding step a whole lot easier. After sanding down the top rim, I cleaned my entire cup with some 91% rubbing alcohol, and now we can move on to adding all of our vinyl elements. The first decal we're going to place down is our main quote decal. Now this has already been layered with the 2 layers of the offset that come with the file. So for the bottom portion, I used my black textured metallic vinyl from Teckwrap Craft. And then for the top layer, I used my really pretty light blue colorful pearl vinyl, also from Teckwrap Craft. And I just layered those before placing them on the tumbler. I don't know why, I don't typically do that, but anyway, I'm just gonna place that in that decal area that we laid out with our peekaboo. So you can see that the glitter is the background, and then we've got our nice decal with the offset in the middle. This quote I think is really important to remember, especially at the beginning of a new year. Sometimes we can forget to take care of ourselves. I know that I certainly can. So one of my goals in 2024 is to make self-care a priority so that I can better serve you and be there for my family and my friends and all of that stuff. You can't fill from an empty bucket. So make yourselves a priority this year. It is important. So anyway, that's my speech for the year. So once we've got that main decal placed, we can move into adding our outlines for our stars. So these are cut out of the same black texture metallic vinyl that we used for the bottom layer of the offset on the decal. And I'm just going to take these and apply them to each star that is the same size, obviously. Now I am going to try my best to save these inlay stars and use them on a different project. So I'm weeding them out, putting them back down on the backing, and then using my black grid transfer tape from Teckwrap Craft to apply the outlines to our tumbler. So here's what all of our star outlines look like once they're applied to the tumbler. The next thing we need to do is add a thin black outline to our main decal area. Now this is totally optional, but I feel like it was necessary to finish that area off. Just kind of gives that peekaboo section a really nice, clean outline and makes it all look a little bit more put together in my opinion. Again, this outline comes with the decal file as well, and I'm going to very, very carefully apply this to the main silver peekaboo area of this decal section. After that outline is applied, we can move on to adding all of our extra little elements. So I cut out some stars, some little sparkles, and then some little lightning bolts, and I'm going to place those in any area that is open on the tumbler. I'm using a really pretty satin holographic chrome vinyl, also from Teckwrap Craft. P.S. Don't you love the amount of dog hair on my sweatshirt? My goodness. I need a lint roller in every area of my home. Anyway, I'm going to just take these different little elements and, like I said, fill them in any open spot on the tumbler. This step, of course, is totally optional. All of these steps are optional, really. If you don't want to do any of them or you want to skip them, go for it. I just wanted to add a little bit of extra something to the forefront of the tumbler. So I'm just going to add these little elements all over. Now that all of our vinyl work is completed, we can move into our next coat of epoxy. So for this coat, I'm going to be using my Fast Cure epoxy from Flynn Sisters Supply Shop. And to start, I'm going to put about 10 milliliters of just plain epoxy with nothing mixed into it on my tumbler. But in this layer, we are going to add a little bit of extra sparkle. I always love to add extra sparkle and glitter to my tumblers. And as my friend Vanessa says, do it. So I'm going to put this epoxy on my cup, let it spin for just about 5 minutes, and then we can move into adding our extra glitter. To start, I'm just going to take Venetian, which is, I think, the large cut of Iceberg and Glowstick, which are the two glitters we used to do our peekaboo. And I'm just going to take that in little pinches and sprinkle it kind of all over the tumbler. This is just going to bring a little bit of that glitter back to the forefront, give it a little bit of extra dimension, and of course add some extra sparkle. And then to go even further with this extra sparkle at the forefront, I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of Celestial into my remaining epoxy. I've got about 5 milliliters of epoxy here, and I'm going to mix that together and just apply this glitter and epoxy mixture all over my tumbler. So again, totally optional. You don't have to do this, but I just really wanted to go super wild with the excess glitter on this design, if you couldn't tell. After this coat of epoxy is all cured, I'll add one final coat to the tumbler. This coat will be using the Artist Cure epoxy from Flynn Sister Supply Shop. And once that is all cured, we are all done. So here is the final tumbler design. I really love how this turned out, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. I am so excited for all the things coming in 2024. I hope you all are ready. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're not already so you don't miss any of the things that I have coming. Let me know, of course, what you think of this video and tutorial and design and everything down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, love you. Bye.
Everybody. Starting off strong, hey? It's been a while. Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Made by Manny and Mal. You can join my mentorship group at the website on your screen. I'd love to have you in the Elite fam. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you are not already so you don't miss any of my new videos. And while you're here, here's another video for you to check out. I want to say a huge thank you to my channel members and my Elite fam members. You guys make this channel possible. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.